Today's video is about how very social people and extroverts are bigoted towards introverts and shy people. And also about how I give them grace for that, because in their world, being shy or introverted is basically a character flaw, legitimately. Because in their world, social interaction is everything. Social interaction to them is what makes you a good person. And I found that extroverts are not as intrinsically moral as introverts, because their main moral is social interaction. Everything else is negotiable. What do I mean by that? And this is just my experience, after 48 years of life. I have found that introverts have a much more rigid, intrinsic moral code, meaning this moral code is just ingrained and it's non-negotiable. Take being faithful to your spouse. That's like something that an introvert is going to judge somebody on totally, because there's nothing to override that. Versus with extroverts, their social relationship with somebody is higher than any intrinsic moral. So I'm not saying that they're pro cheating on their wife, or even that they're going to cheat on their wife themselves. But if their best friend cheated on their wife, they're not going to throw away that friendship just because the guy cheated on his wife, because their friendship is more important than anything that friend does, from a moral standpoint. And so having social interaction as being the ultimate moral to them, that basically defines whether you're a good person. Like, if you don't say hi to them when you see them, or you don't make them feel accepted and make them feel like you're part of their social group, they don't like you. That's it. Nothing else you can do in your life is going to make them like you. Because again, this is the converse of what I just said about their best friend cheating on their wife. Their highest moral value is whether you're in a social relationship with them. So you're not going to be able to appeal to, well, I'm a good person, I give to charity, I love my family, I treat my family well, I'm great to my kids, I'm great to my wife. That's irrelevant to them. They basically think you're a shitty person because of the very fact that the way you interact with them. That's what they'll say to each other. Like, well, what's up with that guy? Like, that guy doesn't come to the barbecues, and he doesn't chat us up in the driveway, and he doesn't say hi to you when he's out on a walk and shit. That guy's like a real piece of shit. That's their whole moral system. And so that's why they treat shy and introverted people poorly. There's like a total bigoted thing. I remember getting totally, which is not uncommon for me. I have as a shy and introverted person, I have some views on things that are not very popular with the extrovert majority. And I saw somebody on Twitter. This was back when I was stupid enough to be on Twitter. But they said something about why can't people just say hi to you on the street when they walk by? What's so hard about a little bit of kindness to somebody? And I'm like, and I was the only person giving it. I was like, well, some people value their privacy. Some people are introverts. Some people don't want to interact with you when they're out on their walk. And what's wrong with that? What have they done? Do you know anything about this person? Do you know whether this is a good person or not? Do you know how they treat the people in their lives? Do you know what their moral code is and whether they follow that moral code? And I just got dogpiled by everybody. Just like, no, it's not that hard just to say hi. You gotta, you're not a good person unless you say hi to people on the street. And I'm like, I mean, I could go into a whole cultural argument that, like, basically this is only an American concept. It's just a cultural thing that you're ascribing, like, higher moral value to. It's not even fully an American thing. It's basically only like a Southern American thing. Because I come from the Northeast. I come from Boston. And it's a lot more similar to Europe and basically the rest of the world, where people think it's kind of strange when strangers interact with you. And so to basically say someone's a bad person because they're behaving the way like 90% of the world behaves is just ridiculous in that aspect. But even set that aside, it's just, from a logical standpoint, it's just the way extroverts think is very strange. You know, at least to me. Like I said, I understand that to them it makes perfect sense. I mean, it's so ingrained in their belief system that it's almost like hard to judge them about it. It's like, well, of course they don't like you if you're not social, because to them being social is the highest good. So it's perfectly internally consistent, internally logically consistent. So I can't blame them, but I've on occasion with individuals tried to explain to them how someone could view the world differently. And did it work? No, it didn't work at all. But I tried. I have a sister-in-law that has this view that I've just described, that I think is the majority, but I think she might be kind of an extreme case, which is why we really butt heads. But to her, like, absolutely social interaction is the highest good. And so that's what she judges me on. And since I'm shy, she basically thinks I'm a piece of shit. You know? Nothing I do that I view as what makes someone a good person is ever going to make her think I'm a good person. That's just the way it is. It's not that she's against these things that I do that are good, that I view as just, you know, unmistakably good, universal good. You know, it's not that she doesn't think they're good. It's just that she doesn't. That's not, you know, like I said, I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm just reinforcing the point. That's not her highest good. You know, it's like there's a hierarchy of goods. Obviously, it's like if some guy like never lies, but he's a rapist or something, then, you know, the fact that he doesn't lie isn't really, he's not going to get too much credit for that. And so to her, all the things I do that are good, she doesn't necessarily disagree they're good, but they're pretty much like irrelevant because they're way overshadowed by the fact that I don't interact with her in the way that she wants me to interact with her. Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much nobody sees these videos, but I just think it would be really interesting for if some extrovert saw this video and was like, a light went on, you know, about how they treat shy people, you know. Like, if it's not even like, in my case, I don't really desire interaction with strangers. But then even like, if there is an interaction, it's going to be awkward because I don't have any practice in it and I don't like it. I'm not comfortable. It's like, it's not something I want to be doing. And so, you know, they'll react with, you know, revulsion at the way I'm not like smooth and comfortable about it. Like, this guy's a weirdo. What's wrong with him? Why isn't he all like good at interacting with me? You know what I mean? And so all this stuff, all the way extroverts think, it would be really interesting if like one of them could become enlightened by hearing this point of view and be like, you know what, maybe maybe my whole way of looking at the world hasn't always been correct. Now, another reason why I give them grace is because there are people that are awkward and shy, and they really are just weirdos, like they turn out to be serial killers or something. So there is, even though it's a tiny percentage, it is something that, like, they're not unjustified in having their guard up a little bit. It's like if you don't know snakes really well, you're not a snake expert, and that whatever percentage of snakes, say it's only 10%, I have no idea, but for the purposes of this analogy, if you know that 10% of snakes are venomous, but you don't know really which ones are venomous because you don't know much about snakes, then obviously you're going to be wary or leery around all snakes. So I can't say that I blame them. It's like, they know that some tiny percentage, maybe 1% of people that just kind of like are awkward and shy and a little bit weird in their view, are actual, like, dangerous people. Then why would they even chance it? Why would they even interact with any of those people? So from that standpoint, their behavior's understandable. So I'm not even saying that I think that there's anything. It's not like they're not objectively wrong. I'm just pointing out a difference, that this is the way shy and introverted people get treated in the world, and you deal with it. Like, when I go to the gym and I see everybody else like yucking it up in between sets, and I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in getting my work in, and I know they think I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? Because that's their world. That's the only frame of reference. There's no other reason why anybody would not interact with them other than they're an asshole. They don't even acknowledge that there's a kind of person that just doesn't have the desire to engage in that kind of stuff. Because who the hell wouldn't want to engage that? That's life to them. I mean, that's like somebody that doesn't eat or drink water, or you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to them whatsoever. But I don't know. At the risk of getting repetitive, I'll end this. I'm probably already getting repetitive, but I hope you get my point. If you have anything to say about it, if anyone sees this, I normally get 0 views, but if you happen to be looking at this and you're an extrovert, let me know your point of view. Or if you're an introvert, let me know if you have the same view and experiences. See ya.